What's up, guys? It is Sean, aka Hyrule1969. Thank you very much for tuning into my channel. If you are not already a subscriber, by all means, please subscribe. And if this video helps you out in any ways, please make sure to give me a nice thumbs up, like, and also hit that little bell notification. That way you know every time I come up with one of these cool little videos that may be able to help you out, you get a notification for it. So, let's go on. If you already own one of these classic gems and you already know the problems that come with it, they are all too common. The thing is that the Chevy Trailblazer is not too bad of a vehicle when it's running correctly. However, the problems is that they are so popular that they've become so common with people that they become so cheap because of their issues, their problems, their transmissions, their electrical, their random multiple misfires. Anybody that has one of these 4.2s know exactly what I'm talking about here. So today I'm going to show you guys here how to diagnose if one of your misfire issues causes are from a bad ignition coil. It's a very, very common issue to deal with. It is so common that the price of these have dropped down tremendously from like what they used to be. They used to be like 140 bucks a piece. Now they're down to like 40, 50 bucks or so, something like that. But anyway or another, I'm going to show you here. I had a random multiple misfire. I'm sorry, let me back this up. We had a misfire code on cylinder number 1. This here is cylinder number 1. And judge it by the way that it looks down inside of there, it's been a misfire for a little while. It's pretty dark in there, and you can see it on the coil. It's kind of not too happy. So what I decided to do was I decided to take the cylinder 1 coil out and put it into the number 3. Well, however, that caused a random multiple misfire code. It did not register up as cylinder number 3 misfire. So the next thing that I did here to diagnose this problem is I got one of these right here. It's a spark tester. I'm going to show you exactly how a spark tester works. You plug it onto any type of negative or any type of ground, and then you stick it right here inside the coil, then you go and then you start the car. Let's go do that. Okay, so already right off the bat we can hear it, see it, spark it in there. That is a good coil pack. That is from cylinder number 3. Let's see what happens here with cylinder number 1. I am plugged right into the coil pack from cylinder 1. Nothing. Nothing at all. A lot of discoloration, but nothing at all. This coil pack is the problem to one of our issues from our cylinder 1 misfire code, as well as random multiple misfire code. So now that you end up going to the parts store, sneak away, go to the gym, pick up your new ignition coil pack here. Another thing I wanted to say, if you don't have one of these are only like 10 bucks. But if you don't have one of these, you can use an old spark plug. You could stick an old spark plug in there, and then you could run just a little jumper wire from the end of the spark plug onto any portion that is grounded throughout the vehicle, and you could see if there was spark there too. But this is just the right way to do it, the safer way. So take your coil pack, install it. And then throw the rest of the vehicle back together. Make sure to plug in all of your wires. Now, you can hear it's running so much cleaner, so much better. Real nice. So completely throughout this experience, there was one thing that I learned and discovered here, was that in the process of having random multiple misfires, there were 22 codes found on this vehicle. I ended up replacing the catalytic converter. I ended up replacing the crankshaft sensor, the camshaft sensor, and the knock sensor as well. And oh, yes, that's right. And also the plugs, because this vehicle has like 189,000 miles on it. So it needed plugs anyways. It's been a while since their last tune-up. So I didn't do an oil change or anything crazy like that, because pretty much the people that own this vehicle, I know them pretty well. They do maintain their vehicles quite well. So they usually keep up pretty good on their oil changes and didn't need one. So in the process of this, with the coil packs, as I was rearranging coil packs around trying to find out which one it was, there was only like 3 codes left, and there were random multiple misfires. So throughout that random multiple misfire, was saying cylinder number 1, cylinder number 3, as well as the random multiple misfire. So I got in there and I discovered that one of the random multiple misfires was because the inside of the cylinder port was covered in oil. And that is more than likely due to a bad valve cover gasket. So I'm definitely going to let them know about that. I got in there, I cleaned it up. Instantly, that cylinder picked right up. Everything was fine. Leaving me alone with random multiple misfire, as well as the cylinder 1 misfire. So, however, this is what I discovered in the process of this, which is very, very strange. When I took the coil pack and I put it into cylinder 2, or even moved around to cylinder 3, it came back up with random multiple misfire. It did not tell me what cylinder was misfiring, which I thought was actually rather odd, being the fact that the only thing I did was change the coil pack around. However, though, the Chevy Trailblazer, I guess, is not wise enough, the computer system, I guess, is not smart enough to realize, okay, well, we have a different situation here. There only should have been one misfire, but it wasn't able to pinpoint that misfire. It wasn't until I put the dead coil pack, this guy right here, into cylinder number 1. After I did that, that came up cylinder 1 as a dead cylinder. So in the process of that, I took it back out, tried it again, put it back into cylinder number 2, and random multiple misfire code came back, which is very, very odd. I don't know why Chevy did that. I couldn't tell you, but long story short was we ended up going to the store. We ended up picking up a whole entire new coil pack. We shoved it in there. First we tested it, as you guys can see on the video. I went ahead, tested it all, put it back in, and the cylinder picked right up. No problems. Now it's running terrific. It's running very strong and very smooth. However, like I said, there was a lot of other issues that were wrong with this vehicle as well, but we took care of that. Primo, we're good there. So that's just something just to bear in mind when you own a Chevy Trailblazer, is expect things not to... I mean, no offense to anybody that owns a Trailblazer, but they're throwaway vehicles. They're not meant to last longer than maybe like 8 years. After that 8 years, you have so many problems with them. If you can lease it or trade it or whatever, I suggest doing it. I don't think these things should even be on the road anymore, personally. I'm just not a fan of the Chevy Trailblazer. I understand Chevy was trying to come up with a nice SUV, and they are great when they're running great. But when one thing goes wrong, it's like 1,000 things go wrong with them. And this is through business experience that I've had for years as a mechanic. It's just something that, I don't know, I wouldn't recommend it. Some other reasons that can cause a random multiple misfire, because I know that's so confusing. People hear that and they're like, oh my goodness, like it's just so much to look at. Vacuum leaks will cause a random multiple misfire, or just any misfire. Any type of bad gaskets or anything like that will cause a vacuum leak. It'll cause a different loss in pressure. That's a very, very common thing, especially on the Trailblazers. Another thing that is very common on the Trailblazer, was we were able to avoid it, thank goodness, is the valve, the intake valve on the cylinder side that is misfire and will actually go bad. It's actually quite common. The way that they designed it, it was kind of like a shady design. They should have done a roller cam, but they didn't. They just did like a flat top thing. And that gets scratched up really quickly. But as long as you're on top of your oil changes and you take care of your vehicle, you really don't have that to worry about. Another thing that could cause it would be a bent push rod or a bad intake gasket, or sorry, a bad head gasket will cause a misfire as well. Another thing that causes misfire is bad injectors or dirty injectors on other vehicles. Of course, if you have oil that gets down inside of the cylinder port, inside of here-ish, if there's any type of oil that gets down in there, this will spark. If there's any type of cracks or anything that are located inside of the coil pack, it'll make a different type of ground and it will not allow your spark plug to spark correctly. So it'll just kind of jump spark all over the place and it doesn't make the correct contact. That will also cause a random multiple misfire. Spark plugs, bad plugs, obviously would cause a random multiple misfire. So I mean, pretty much what takes to run an engine are three things: spark, fuel, compression, and air. Well, four things. As long as you get spark, you're good. As long as you're getting air, you're good. As long as you get in fuel, but the correct amount of fuel, you're good. And air. A vehicle needs air, needs combustion. What it breathes in is what it's going to breathe out. So remember that. A lot of people go out, they change their exhaust manifolds, or they change their intake, and they don't do their exhaust or whatever. It needs to balance itself out. If you breathe in 100 CFM of air, you need to breathe out 100 CFM of air. It's the same exact thing with a vehicle. If this video here has helped you out in any way, I would definitely appreciate a like, a thumbs up there, smack that little thing on the bottom. Be sure to subscribe and comment at the bottom if this had helped you out in any way. Maybe I missed something, or maybe that there was something else that you guys don't know that you would like to share with a subscriber, or even just a person who just wanted to view this video. Be sure to find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Links at the bottom. And also, this video is sponsored by High Roller Customs. That is the shop that I own, of course. High Roller Customs for all of your vehicle needs. And I'm not just talking cars. I'm talking all vehicles. Doesn't matter what it is. I'll work on it. I'll make it pretty. I'll make it run good. So, anyways, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next round. Love you. Bye.